daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the daily Manchester United podcast. 20 minutes after the Manchester derby, there was a slight feeling of inevitability about it, but 3-0 loss at the Etihad. I'm joined by Tom for this episode to get a raw reaction of the game. I mean, we'll get into the goals and we'll get into some of the talking points of the game, Tom, but give me your initial reaction after that.
Predictable. I said to the team that I predicted it to be 4-1 because I expected City to come back after two really dreadful defeats against Brighton and Tottenham. So the fact that they came away with a positive result out of it was no surprise to me. I thought they would come back from it. And we can have no complaints about the result. That tells you the difference between the two sides, and clearly City knew how to play football, and United still need to find theirs.
Well summed up. I think it was clear that we were outclassed today, and yeah, the scoreline reflected exactly how the game went. So yeah, I mean, from the get-go, really, City started at so much pace, so much intent in their play, and we were kind of hanging on for dear life, kind of playing some long balls, hoping that we could get a bit of play off Sesko, and then kind of just hoping for the best, I suppose, and defending as best we could. And then we had that bit of magic from Doku on the right-hand side, just went past Shaw like he wasn't there. We get an initial block in, and then Doku does well to get it back into play, and then a header by Foden. I mean, could Shaw have done better? It looks bad when you're looking back on it, but when Doku's kind of lining you up like that, there's probably not much you can do, is there?
No, I don't think there was a lot you can do. But my only criticism about the goal was Foden not being picked up, because there was like 4 or 5 players that could have picked him up, and not one of them picked him up. And you can't blame the goalkeeper. And I think for once, you can't blame Bioniq today. It's not his fault for the goals at all, because what was he supposed to do? They've just got some work to do, and this is the bleak part of United right now. They still don't look ready to be competing against anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And this is on a reduced schedule. This United team looks miles and miles away from being anywhere near where they once were.
Mm-hmm.
So we knew that City were going to come back today, and they duly did. I don't think they'll win the league. I still don't think they'll win the league. I think they'll come up short. But if you're a United fan, there's no way you can go into any game that is coming up thinking that you're going to get a positive result out of it. We've got Chelsea next, then Brentford and Sunderland. Never going to be easy games. I mean, if you look at Sunderland at the moment, I mean, they're punching above their weight, aren't they?
Yep.
And Brentford
last night.
Yeah, and Brentford who just snatched the point against Chelsea. You never know what they can do. We look too easy to be going up against any opposition. Burnley are unfortunate not to get anything out of the game against us in the last match day before this weekend. Right now, we look like a team that is totally short of ideas, totally short on options. I mean, the fact that Cunha wasn't able to play today was a shame, but that doesn't excuse the result for United by any means. You still got to go out there and turn up. I mean, we spoke about Mbeumo in maybe in the live chat.
Mm-hmm.
I say in the live chat, the WhatsApp group, whatever you want to call it, but he was probably the only player that turned up. I mean, Ahmed at times, I think, was able to make good runs. Sesko, I think, needs to work on his control a little bit. But the passing from Maguire and Shaw, I mean, Maguire came on as a substitute, but that third goal that we conceded, I'm even looking at the first goal now, Niall, as we're speaking. Hopefully, won't see anything on the reflection of my scale car models in the background, but I'm just looking at it. Yeah, but Doku just cuts back through past Shaw and Ugarte. It was just far too easy.
Mm-hmm.
Far too easy.
Yeah, we're looking back here at Sky going through their post-match analysis. I mean, it is poor. It is poor, and yeah, we can get on to into the third goal as well at times. It just, you are right though. Your analysis is spot on in terms of we're way off it. We don't look like we have any confidence. Once the first goal went in, it was like, well, we're definitely not going to win this. You know, let's hope we can try and get a goal. And they do look like they're lacking ideas. You're dead right in terms of that analysis, and it's disappointing because as a fan, and I said this on the preview when I was trying to give a score prediction, I was like, it's head over heart every time you come to a weekend with United. You're just hoping that you get a result, but if you really take all the emotion out of it, there's no way you'd have any confidence in any game in the Premier League this season. And even like you mentioned, with the the greater time between matches and the greater opportunity for preparation between these matches as well, with probably one of the shortest seasons we're going to have in general across all competitions, being knocked out of the League Cup so early. So, there's going to be plenty of time for Amram to kind of get a grip of the players in terms of getting his system in place and getting them performing. But it's been really slim pickings in terms of positives that we can take from the first few games of the season, and that's just not a place we wanted to be in.
No, and I still don't feel that we're ready for this season, Niall. I have to say it, because we're still short of where we need to be. In terms of what we need to do in regards to the system, we still need to find ways in how we can move the ball up the pitch, and doing so with more energy.
Mm-hmm.
I know we're still speaking about the first half. I'm just seeing the second goal that Haaland scored. I think it's just a typical Haaland goal where he's able to get goal side of Luke Shaw and dink it over Bioniq. We might go into that a little bit later on in the show.
Yeah, no, I think we can talk about it now, because that kind of brought the first half to an end. It didn't really look like actually creating anything. I thought we actually started quite well in the second half. We kind of had them pinned in for maybe 5 minutes or so, creating a couple of chances, kind of kept them penned inside their box as well, which is good. But then, like we mentioned at the top of the show, there's just a gulf in class at the moment between, and it has been for years, between ourselves and City. And it was shown in that second goal. I mean, there was some lovely touches. Nico O'Reilly kind of had a nice nutmeg. Then Foden played a ball in. Doku held his man off. And like you said, a typical Haaland finish, rolled his defender, and a brilliant dinked finish over Bioniq as well. And yeah, that was game over then. In reality, I mean, Haaland, we know he's an absolute machine. I think that's, with the 2 goals today, I think it was 8 goals in 9 appearances against Man United, which is just an insane record. And between himself and Foden scoring the goals, it was a bit inevitable. But yeah, I think your points around Maguire and Shaw are right. I think, we'll touch on the third goal in a bit in terms of what kind of led to that. But I thought in general, I have good faith in Yoro and De Ligt for where we are at the moment. I don't think we can get any better there at the moment. But Shaw just seems to slow the game down whenever he gets on the ball, and just seems to kind of put his foot on the ball and doesn't keep it moving as much as we need to. And a lot of opportunities, had a chance to kind of pass forward and be progressive, but kind of took the sting out of the attack and would just go back to the goalkeeper, which is, it's just a killer when you're trying to build up from the play. So, a few things there on it with him on the ball, but then defensively as well for a couple of those goals just got pinned really, really easily by Haaland, and got ran around by Doku, unfortunately.
And that's the sad state of Manchester United. You've summed it up right there. We just look like we just don't have any form of strength. We're not strong enough when we're trying to basically bully Haaland, Doku, Foden, Nico O'Reilly, Bernardo Silva. Our strength is not anything like what they've got. And it's as simple as that. And United fans have got to look at this objectively and think, right, where exactly are we lacking now? I know some of them will say, well, we still need a centre-half, but the priority is we need a box-to-box midfielder, maybe even 2. Because Ugarte, for me, just looked lost in that game for me. It might have been a slightly better game for him, but it certainly wasn't a harmonious one. And I'm seeing that third goal again. It was just a mix-up between Shaw and Maguire, really. Poor pass off the poor pass, and Haaland just picked up on it. And because he was inside his own half, it was basically a free pass for him to be played to. I can't remember who it was that played him in, but
Bernardo Silva, yeah.
It was just far too easy. Far too easy.
I mean, our analysis is syncing up here perfectly with we're actually getting these. I feel like we're on Sky, Tom. This is great.
We couldn't have timed the recording of this any better. That's the best thing we've done all day. As a Manchester United thing as a whole, never mind Sky. Tune into GSPN for your analysis. You got it right there.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. I feel like I'm in the studio with myself. Tom, what do you think of that? We're watching the goal back. No, I mean, you're dead right. I mean, the third goal, I think, it was a mix-up between Shaw and Maguire, but if you go back just one more pass, it's Ugarte that puts Shaw under so much pressure with his pass. It's a flat, square pass to his weaker foot with a man closing him down. Shaw kind of now doesn't have any control of the ball, needs to get rid of it first time, plays it back to Maguire, short. Then Maguire has to lunge in to clean it again. And then it's just, like you said, Haaland in his own half, can't be offside. Bernardo Silva chip it over the top. Maguire's never catching him. So, I know I'm always kind of picking on Ugarte in a way, but that did start with him in terms of playing a poor pass and an under-hit pass as well to a player under pressure. And this is the devoid of confidence bit and the lack of ideas that we speak around, because those sort of mistakes happen because of that. Players are too tight beside each other. They need to kind of have a bit more confidence in what their actual game plan is as well. And even though you are 2-0 down, you have to be able to keep that right mentality and that right aggression to continue to do the same things and not to get your head down. And it was clear that, United had a couple of half chances towards the end of the game, but it was nothing, concrete in terms of chances. And it's not good enough, really. Even if you are 2-3-0 down, you have to continue fighting right to the end. And I felt at times, like after the second goal in particular, there was 40 minutes left, the guts of 40 minutes left, and it was just an absolute death march to the final whistle, which a lot of games in the Manchester Derby have felt like. And it just goes back to the difference in class between both teams, I think.
And do you know what's interesting about Haaland as well? It's his defending. That just shows a comp of his defending. And that tells you everything you need to know about Erling Haaland. Yes, he's a goal poacher, but he's also still earning his graft by getting back and helping out with the defence when United are on the ball.
Absolutely.
That's the kind of mentality we need to have, is as much as you are good at going in front of goal,
which we still need to find.
Yeah, we still need to find.
Yeah.
City are steps ahead of us. Yeah, they've been woeful in the games against Brighton and Tottenham prior to this one. I mean, especially the game against Tottenham. That I don't know where the finesse had gone on in that game for them, but they somehow got it back for today. And it's just, when they go up against tougher opposition than we are they going to be good enough to go for the league? They should at least win something this season. I expect City to win at least one trophy this campaign, considering that they didn't win any last season. But I still don't think they'll win the league. I don't think they've got enough in there, City, to sustain the form that they once had years ago.
Yeah, and I mean, you're going to come up against tougher opposition than United, so it's probably not the best game to judge them on. So yeah, it is difficult to know. But we'll take a quick break here, Tom, and we'll be back with a bit more analysis after this.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique. And Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bioniq, the world's most personalised supplements. Bioniq provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bioniq. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.
There was a lot of talk at the preview of the game regarding the team selection and how we lined out. Mazraoui was back in the team. Ugarte was in the team. Casemiro was out. Manu wasn't in. We kept Bruno in the deep line position, pushed Ahmad into the 10. Were you happy with the lineup when you saw it, or would there have been a couple of things you would have changed?
I'd have put Casemiro in there alongside Fernandes, but I know that Casemiro would not have lasted the whole game. I think Amrin's focus was more in the last half an hour rather than the opening hour. That was what he was thinking. But especially when you had like Manu on the bench, who I thought he came on and played all right Mainly.
He tried hard, didn't he? Yeah. I
Yeah.
thought he was quite good. Like there was a couple of kind of moments that he had. I thought he was putting himself about a lot more, like running a lot more. It looked like he had a kind of fire in the belly that mightn't have been there over the last couple of weeks. And I thought Casemiro did well when he came on as well. Like I know the game was over, but he is a destroyer, but he also is a progressive passer and was constantly looking to get Ahmad and Mbeumo onto the ball with either kind of chips around the corner or feeding into feet at pace. And we just don't have that with Ugarte. And I agree. I think, Amorim was kind of setting up in a way where let's stop the opposition rather than playing ourselves, which is fine. And I think he said that in the pre-match interview that he had, and said, look, it's a tactical decision to bring Ugarte in there rather than Casemiro, and to continue to keep Fernandes playing beside him, because there's going to be a lot of pressing needed. And Ugarte didn't have the worst game today, but that's off a quite a low bar and low standard that we have for him. So I think, as you said, a few minutes ago, around what we really need, we badly need a couple of midfielders that can actually put themselves about and also can put their foot on the ball, Tom.
And given the fact that we've spent 230 million in the last window, are we going to have any money in January to even go and get a midfielder?
I can't see it. I
No.
can't see it, to be honest. No.
No.
And, January is not an ideal time to be buying midfielders either, or buying anyone in general. And I mean, based on what we've seen so far, Tom, what are we going to be playing for in January? Like, hopefully a top half finish is probably realistic at the moment, from the performances that we've seen and based off the injuries that we have, and hopefully they can come back in so we can get back to our strongest team, but it's still not fixing that midfield issue. Another interesting thing I thought was Donnarumma playing for Man City today. He was linked for a while with ourselves and would have kind of solved our goalkeeping problems. We ended up going for, that kind of went out the window. Then it was between Martinez and Lemon. Then we went for Lemon, who didn't start for some reason today. Donnarumma made some good solid saves, especially the one for Mbeumo in the second half. The keeper situation, Tom, I mean, from a United perspective, where do we go now? Like, do we keep buying Deer? Do we bring in Lemon now? Like, it's kind of mixed signals from Amorim. I mean, do they have to fight for it in training? Like, surely the easiest thing would have just been start Lemon today.
I mean, did Bioniq do a lot wrong in today's game?
I don't think so. I don't think City had loads of shots.
I don't think so either.
No, I don't think City had loads of shots. I think there was one shaky moment at the start where he took a heavy touch when Haaland was closing him down, but he got away with it. He kind of made a slide tackle and kept the ball. So no, he didn't do anything wrong today.
I suppose it's not really a gamble to put Lemon in. I mean, we did just pay £18 million for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd probably start him in goal for the next game against Chelsea. Lemon.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just interested to see what the thinking is behind that signing. Is it more of we need someone now, which doesn't really seem like it. I mean, you saw the ruthlessness of Pep. I mean, bringing in Donnarumma straight away after buying a goalkeeper already this window and having started him in the first few games of the season, and said, look, we don't have time to bet a new goalkeeper in that's going to be, maybe a little bit less experienced and taking a few more chances. And it's probably going to pay off for him this season. And yes, Lemon is unproven, really. We don't really know an awful lot about him. But from the calamities we've seen from particularly Onana, but also Bioniq as well over the last few weeks, I just thought it kind of would be a decision that would be made by the manager to bring in the new signing and see how he gets on. But I don't know. We'll see. There's not too many games to trial him out in anymore, Tom, is there, if we keep getting knocked out of these cup competitions?
Well, Ruben Amorim's got to continue his ruthlessness with the players. I mean, we've shipped off Højlund to Napoli, Garnacho to Chelsea, Rashford to Barcelona, and then there's two more which we got Sancho to Villa, and there's one more in there who Anthony against to go to Betis. So he's got to continue that kind of ruthlessness. Does Amorim, and just say, look, you've had your chances. Now we need to give someone else a go at it.
Yeah,
that's the kind of mentality that Ruben Amorim needs to have. And going into the game against Chelsea, we can look like we can get stuck in the first 10 to 15 minutes, but it's actually sustaining the level of clinicalness all the way through. And I'm not 100% sure we're going to have that against Chelsea. I mean, I know Chelsea got pushed back in the last minute against Brentford at the weekend, but they've got a lot of quality in there of Chelsea. And I do worry that we're just going to come up short again against a decent opposition like Enzo Maresca's Chelsea. And of course, Garnacho coming back to Old Trafford.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I saw he got caught at the back post last night, but we won't say much about that. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be plenty of opportunity to preview that Chelsea game this week. But yeah, a tough one today, Tom. I mean, once that first goal went in, like you said, predictable, inevitable. Man City looked like they really had the bit between their teeth today, and we definitely didn't. And like you said, just devoid of confidence and ideas. So, look, we move on to the next one. That's all we can do. We're not going to be fighting for the top 4, top 5 anyway. So we kind of knew that from the start of the season. So let's see how much we can drive it on over the next few weeks. But Tom, thank you for joining me on the episode. Always a tough one to do after we lose. So yeah, appreciate it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
Your daily soccer podcast with the Global Sports Podcast Network.